Welcome to a lesson of Microsoft PowerPoint. In this lesson, we're going to learn about how we can make a project proposal presentation, and which has to be professional too. So there are like several and like thousands of ways how you can make it, but it's going to like depend up to your creativity. But there are some steps and there are some basic things which you need to follow so that you can make it. So without any further ado, let's just hop on to the lesson. As you can see from my screen that I have a presentation open, and in this presentation I'm using a pre-built theme, but it's like quite the same, the same process. So first of all, what you're gonna need is the base slide, which is gonna be the front page. So it's gonna be the presentation and your title is gonna be up here. Next, what you're gonna show up is gonna be the agenda, or maybe the things which you want to like the points you want to like bring up or which you want to express. Then the third one is going to be the introduction. You can also put the introduction in the first one because this third slide is like completely optional. Then you're going to put up your primary goals. Then the fifth one is going to be the performance, or which things which you want to like you know bring up, the rates and other stuff. You're going to do that. And in the sixth one, you're gonna do a chart like this, and the seventh one, or like you can also end up a project proposal presentation or a professional presentation in 4 or 5 slides. But I'm not gonna imitate you all of those, but this is just an example how you will be able to make it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just show it to you from scratch by how you will be able to make it. So I'm gonna do is open up a new blank presentation and I'm gonna start it from scratch. So first thing what we're gonna do is obviously make let's say an icon, or maybe something which is like literally attractive or interesting. So I'm gonna do is use some shapes. So I'm gonna do is start off with circles. So I'm gonna do is start for circles. So I'm gonna do is add in a circle over here. After I add in a circle, I'm gonna do is make more circles over here, but it's gonna overlay each one of them and make a good shape. Go into insert again, go to shapes. This time what I'm gonna do is find out a vacant one. I'm gonna make it something like this and make some small ones over here. I'm just gonna do is, let's say I'm gonna keep it like this, but I'm gonna copy. Okay, if it doesn't copy, well, there might be some issues. I'm gonna keep it like this. I'm gonna make small ones over here. Go to insert, go to shapes. Let's say I'm gonna keep it over here. Alt and copy. Well, you have to manage the places in between them. And now it's done, quite done. But I'm gonna do is the same things over here, or maybe do something like now do some gap ones or some hollow ones. So I'm gonna go to insert again, go to shapes, find out the hollow ones. I'm gonna make a circle over here and make some other ones over here. Let's say I'm gonna add 3 of them. Let's just keep one over here, a bit shorter than this one. I'm gonna do is obviously make them to be shorter and shorter one by one. Undo it, and now it looks a bit better. I'm gonna do this one too, make this a bit shorter than this one, undo it. Well, I'm just making my own type of icon which I'm trying to make. So I'm gonna do is copy all of those or select all of those. What I'm gonna do over here is gonna be changing them into a different one. So I'm gonna do is group all of them. Now all of them are grouped. Now what I'm gonna do is change or use a photo in between them. So I'm gonna do is select on it, and what I'm gonna do is change, you know, the the color, or maybe let's say I'm gonna do is select on fill, but I'm gonna use a picture instead of this. I'm gonna do is from a file. Now I'm gonna do is go to downloads, because there, that is where I have my picture downloaded. Let's say I'm gonna use this one, and you can see from here it's like how it is. So I'm gonna do select this and control G, and all of them has been made. So I'm gonna do is obviously use the same fill as the picture I have. So I'm gonna do is undo it again, undo, and I'm gonna do is select on this and control G. And what I'm gonna do is go to shape format and have no outlines, obviously. Then what I'm gonna do is obviously go to fill again, do the same thing, go to pictures from a file, just as I have, select whichever one you want. Let's say I'm gonna use this one right now. So I'm gonna do is use this one and keep it right over here. And now what you're gonna do is add in, let's say I'm gonna add in a shape. I'm gonna do is, let's add a shape of, that is gonna be the header. Okay, so the header is gonna be a bit different, obviously. So I'm gonna do is use a different type of font. So I'm gonna do is use the font of, let's see if we find something good. Let's say I'm gonna use Gadoogie. Now let's say corporate lives. Let's say I'm just gonna keep it like this. I'm gonna make another text box over here. This is where I'm gonna have my description of what it is actually and what it kind of is. You can like add it however you want to. Let's say if you want like different type of things to describe about, you can just add it over here. I'm just gonna add in some dots, okay, where you will be able to add in your text. Well, I'm gonna select all of it, just copy and then paste it right over here. This is where you will be able to add your text. Now I'm gonna do is add in another shape. So I'm gonna do is go to insert, go to shapes, and from here what I'm gonna do is, let's say I'm gonna have a thing over here like this. What I'm gonna do is obviously have it in a way so that it's like, underneath it and is a bit different. So I'm gonna do is send it backwards. Now I'm gonna do is turn this into something else. Like, first off, what I'm gonna do is change the outline, no outlines, and then change the color, shape fill to be something very light, maybe something like bluish. Well, this looks kinda good, not that bad, but I can keep it like this, and this will be how it's gonna look like. Now what I'm gonna do is duplicate the slide. I'm gonna duplicate more slides. Well, not exactly, I'm gonna like use the same thing, but I'm gonna do is just copy this. I'm gonna do is copy, or maybe like use this just how it is. Now I'm gonna do is remove all of these where I have my text over. So I'm gonna do is, this time I'm gonna need to add in or change this text. I'm gonna do is remove this thing over here. I'm gonna do is change the color or change the, this, whichever one I have. So I'm gonna do is go over to picture from a file, just as I used a different one. So I'm gonna use the different one over here right now. I'm gonna do is use this, and what I'm gonna do over here is go to shape format. I'm gonna do is edit the shape, change shape, or you can use like ungroup them. First, what I'm gonna do is ungroup each and every one of them. So I'm gonna do is ungroup them. What I'm gonna do over here is do a bit of formatting. Let's say I'm not gonna need this one this time. Or let's say I'm gonna keep it over here and add in some other ones. Okay, so I'm gonna do is insert, go to shapes. From here I'm gonna add in some, squares instead of just using that. I'm gonna keep some more. Now I'm gonna do is, select all of them and group them, control G, and make these ones too. Okay, which is gonna be group them together and save as picture. You can like save them, but I'm gonna do is just remove the photo a bit for a while, and then make it look again. I'm gonna do is go to fill, picture from file. Let's say I'm gonna use this one this time. Now you can see all of them are a bit different. What I'm gonna do is remove all outlines, remove outlines, and now you can see that this is a bit, you know, different. So I'm just gonna keep it over here. You can use it or either not. I'm just gonna remove it, and this is where you will have your different type of texts, like the agenda which I talked about. So what you're gonna do is obviously make a text box over here where you will be able to add in your agenda. So I'm gonna do is obviously increase the font a lot, agenda. What I'm gonna do is select all of it and then change the font a bit. Well, you just have to make your text or this presentation to be like a lot professional. So you're gonna have to like select whichever type of data you want to select. So I'm gonna do is go to insert and then go to text box again. I'm gonna make another box where you will be able to put up your points one by one. I'm gonna do is obviously select them one by one. Let's say 3, okay, points, whichever one you want. Let's say 3 algorithms, then say 4, or let's say 6 deficits, 7 advantages, demerits. Let's just type in demerits, and 11 constrictions. Let's just keep it like this just as an example, so I'm just gonna use it. I'm just gonna like change the font a bit because this looks not like so professional. So I'm gonna do is select whichever one I prefer. So I'm gonna do is keep it like this. Now I can use another thing like using another shape over here. I'm gonna go to insert, go to shapes. From here I'm gonna do is, let's say I'm gonna select this box. I'm gonna use just something like this. I'm gonna send it backwards. What I'm gonna do is also like remove the outline. And I'm gonna do is obviously change the color to be a bit like really light so that it looks a bit more better. And you can see that it already looks a lot better. What I'm gonna do is make it a bit up over here. You can also add underlines by making or using the shapes, but I'm just gonna use this and then just make an underline over here. And if you want to like change the color of it, that's gonna be up to you how you're gonna do it. Now first what I'm gonna do is just make them to be over here so that it looks a bit more better. Okay, so this is how you will be able to do it. Let's say I'm gonna do another slide over here. Well, it's gonna be like a big one, but what you're gonna do is just follow these steps. Okay, let's say I'm gonna do is also change this one too. For this third slide I'm gonna make a different or use a different photo. So I'm gonna go to fill again, go to pictures. Okay, with that, before going into that, what I'm gonna do is obviously make some differences over here. So I'm gonna do is Control G and ungroup them. So I'm gonna go to shape format and then I'm gonna ungroup them a bit and then start adding in some more. Okay, or like let's say I'm gonna undo it. Well, I forgot. So I'm gonna do is, well, all of them should not be grouped together. Ungroup all of them. Now as all of them are ungrouped, I'm gonna delete whichever ones I don't need. I'm gonna do is delete. Let's say for this one I'm just gonna use this. Okay, and now I'm gonna do is group all of them together, Control G, and now they are grouped together. I'm just gonna go to go to fill, go change the picture this time, select on a different one. Let's say I want this one now, so I'm gonna do is keep it over here. I want perfect size of picture, so just hold on to your shift key and you will see that it will turn out to be perfect. I'm gonna keep it on here this time, and this is where you're gonna have more points over here. Okay, so if you want to add in more points, that is gonna be up to you. So what you're gonna do here is, let's say we're gonna make more boxes. So I'm gonna go to shapes, add in more boxes or text boxes, whichever one you need. So I'm gonna go over here and so add in these text boxes and where you will be able to put up more points. Let's say now we're gonna put up the description of the points. So let's say this is gonna be the algorithm first. algorithm, where you're gonna have this kind of, description. Obviously you're gonna need this one to be a bit bigger. Control V, this is where you're gonna have all of those texts. What we're gonna do is copy this, use this to copy more. Now you can see that there are 4 of them, so I'm gonna do is change them one by one. Now all 4 of them are on the same pages. So I'm gonna do is, let's say, demerits and constrictions. This is gonna be where you're gonna put up the demerits. Now I'm gonna do is, the second one should be deficits. Now as all of them are done, you can like edit it however you want to. Let's say I'm gonna insert also a shape over here. Well, it's gonna be something different this time, so I'm gonna do is keep this like this. I'm gonna do is send it backwards. As all of them are backward, I'm gonna do is just go to shape outline to be no outline, and then shape the fill with something like really light. Okay, something like this. Just as like this, the first one, the first color of this. This is how it will kind of look like. You can add in different type of colors just according to you, however you want it. I can like use different kind of colors too over here. I'm gonna do is keep them to be a different. I'm gonna do this on all of these. Now as all of them are done, now the last, I'm gonna make the last slide where you're gonna have the chart. So I'm gonna do is duplicate the slide, and this time I'm gonna do is delete all of them. I'm just gonna need a structure. Okay, so if I need a structure, I'm gonna need obviously the photo first. I'm gonna do is Control C. This is where I'm gonna need this, and as this is where I'm gonna need it, so I'm gonna do is keep them to be over here because this is kind of like a logo. Okay, so I'm gonna do is keep this over here, kept it over here. I'm gonna keep it over here too. I can also keep it over here, just however I want them to be. Now I'm gonna do is make a graph chart about it. So I'm gonna go to insert, and from here I'm gonna select the chart. So first off, I'm gonna do is select on this, then press OK, and there are gonna be 4 of the items. Okay, so the series 1. Okay, so I'm gonna do is, first one is gonna be algorithm. Next one is gonna be deficits. This one is gonna be demerits. Constrictions. So as all of them are done, let's say it's like kind of this. Okay, now I'm gonna do is change them differently next time, or like after I'm done. Now as all of them are done, what I'm gonna do is keep them to be something like this, however I want them to be. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is change them however I want it to be. So that's like completely up to me how I'm gonna format it. So if it's kind of like this, I'm just gonna add in a shape to like give them a rear view. So after that, it's gonna be kind of done. So I'm gonna do is make this shape over here. As this one is done, I'm just gonna do is just no outline, and change the shape color to be something like this, and then send them backwards. And you can see that this will be how you will be able to make a professional like project presentation. Okay, so what you see is just as I said, what you're gonna need is the introduction. You can also type an introduction, whichever one you want, and then you're gonna describe it a bit as an introduction. Then you're gonna need to pick up some points, which is also the agenda. That is gonna be up to you. then you're gonna like describe those points like in a page and make it to be look a bit better in a presentation mode. And then you're gonna put up charts, and then you can also put up like some dates and other stuff where your performance was like rising and increasing. So that is gonna be also up to you how you're gonna do it. So let's go to presentation mode, and you can see that this is how it's gonna kind of look like, and you can see that it looks a lot more professional than just basic presentations. So hope you guys like understood everything, and thank you for staying with us and watching this video.